Well, let's return to our top story now and what's been described as an epidemic of sexual violence on US college campuses. Now, the problem, though, isn't limited to the United States. It's here too. The campaign group Revolt Sexual Assault and the website Student Room carried out a survey of assaults in UK universities. Of the 4,500 students from 153 different institutions who took part, 62% experienced sexual violence in the UK whilst at university. It includes sexual assault and harassment. Figure rises to 70% amongst women, 48% of whom experience sexual assault. Despite this, only 1 in 10 reported their experiences to the university or to police. Let's talk to Hannah Price, who founded Revolt Sexual Assault and survived sexual assault herself. Good to see you this morning. I mean, these are shocking figures. Shocking figures. A lot of people will say there can't be this many rapes going, but it's not just about rape, is it? It's about where that line becomes less clear. What happened in your case?
So in my case, I was leaving a club and someone who I was on a night out with offered to walk me home. And then when we got to my student accommodation, they said, could I come in and get some water because I'm not feeling very well? Didn't think anything of it, let them in, and then they became quite aggressive and wouldn't take no for an answer. But I think the thing is that a university environment is so different to anywhere else where you're living, studying and socialising with the same group of people. So I knew that I was going to have to see this person all the time. Yeah. And when I looked to see what the university policy was or support, there wasn't any available. It was just to go to the police. But obviously, if you're still in the bubble with this person, that's not really feasible without that extra support.
I mean, it's very difficult to imagine to have someone pressure you that way and pressure you in your own home as well, and to become that aggressive.
Yeah, it's from the stories we've collated through Revolt Sexual Assault and the qualitative data we got from our survey, it's really common in this environment. And I think because of the stereotypes of rape being associated with a stranger in a dark alley, you not knowing them, too much alcohol involved, that sometimes this can mean that students think that it wasn't serious enough to talk about or come forward because it didn't fit into that box, because consent and things like that weren't really taught for our generation. It was just something, it was no means no, and that's it. Yeah,
and you don't think that no means no doesn't really work, does it? You've got to.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better understanding of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the focus until now has been on women and how to protect themselves. So don't walk home alone, all these things, which in a lot of cases people do take those precautions and it still happens. So we need to look at why it's happening and put the focus on the people that are doing it more than the victims.
So in education, in effect. It's part of the problem within the university sphere that people are young and inexperienced and potentially sexually inexperienced, and also pretty driven by the hormones as well. Is that? I mean, it's a tinderbox of things if there's not enough education to help them through that minefield.
Yeah, I think as we've kind of learned from recent events that this sort of behaviour is prominent everywhere. I think the university environment gives more opportunities for people that do act this way, and there's a kind of a spectrum. So being groped on a night out is so common. Every girl will have said that happened to them at university, and it's kind of because that's so normalised that it can allow this more dangerous and sinister behaviour to happen, because people have stopped talking about it because they've assumed that it's happening to people around them as well, and there's no real responsibility on people to stop, because there aren't awareness campaigns at a lot of universities, there aren't policies that are clearly available or reporting mechanisms, and then there's no support. So it's easier to pretend it didn't happen, get your degree and then deal with it at the moment than it is to do what would help you personally by reporting it, getting that support. So it's just not really working. The current system isn't working, and it's not a conversation that we're having in the UK. Whereas in the US, sexual assault on campus has been at least 5 years. It's been on the national agenda. Politicians are talking about it. Barack Obama was talking about it. But here it's just not socially or politically on the agenda.
Well, let's hope that that changes, because clearly it can't continue in the way that you've described. Hannah, really appreciate you talking to us. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, more on that coming out throughout the course of the morning. Special report at 9:30 as well. But